As little as long ago, or as forever as far away, this is where we meet to celebrate what never was as it comes to pass. Welcome readers, listeners, and viewers from America and across the world. It's Saturday, September 18th, 2010. I welcome you and thank you for joining us for another episode of FallenAngels.tv. This is Zen Garcia. I'm your host. I have as co-host with me today, Alan Swanson. Alan, you want to give a shout out to the listening audience? Alan, you there, brother?
Yeah, plugged in now, Zen. Hello, America. Hello, Fallen Angels TV. Hello, Zen Garcia, who's in the trajectory of Igor, category 4 hurricane. Bless you, brother.
We're actually not feeling too much of it. It's still beautifully sunshine outside, and it was a gorgeous, almost fall day. There's some coolness coming in. And how's the weather up where you are? I mean, it's got to be cooler, definitely.
It's my first season here out in Ontario, and it's very close to the Great Lakes, so it's been, for me, unusually cloudy. You know, all year, so 5 or 6 out of every 7 days is cloudy, so not good.
Right on. So it's kind of like what Nigel was talking about with the weather in England and overcast quite a bit. I lived in Seattle for a while, and it was kind of like that. But today we're going to cover some very interesting concepts and to bring out some very interesting teachings, and we're going to talk about the giants before the flood and after flood, and equate the whole, the Watcher when they interdicted into the affairs of humanity, with something. We just did a show yesterday where we had Nigel Kerner and Dr. Andrew Silverman and Dr. Biggerstuff on with us, and Andrew's a proponent that, the gray aliens were the ones that created the race of humanity, and that they, not necessarily the benefactors, because he does believe that they're evil, but he doesn't understand why Yahweh brought such a judgment against this particular bloodline, the Canaanite bloodline, the Cain seed, and also the children of the Watchers and the giants that were born from them. And so today we're going to touch a little bit upon all those subjects so that people can understand why Yahweh brought such a heavy judgment upon these particular beings, that, the Watchers that left their first estate and came down and made it with the daughters of man. And we're going to touch upon some pieces of scripture from different books, just to fill in the blanks and to give you an idea of what it was they were doing that was so evil in the eyes of the Lord that it was necessary for him to bring a flood to wipe out all flesh and to repopulate the planet with Noah and his family. And one of the other things that we're going to cover that a lot of people are, confused on, and I recently learned this myself after doing a show with Minister Fortson, in which he asked me about the continuance of the line of Cain. And so that's one of the things we're also going to cover in this show, is how the line of Cain was perpetuated after the flood. And so, but Alan, do you want to comment before we go into some of these scriptures and some of these studies?
Definitely. So the Lord has drawn a line in the sand and eternally condemned the full hybrids, Cain's direct lineage, those who propagate and move in their father's mandate, the people that control this world, as well as the spirits of the giants. So basically what it is it's irreconcilable nemesis to the kingdom of God. So what I think of the Greys is that there's a type of a scout battalion as like a precursor to the invasion of the Nephilim. And what I make of Cain's lineage is that it's a type of silent invasion through genetics and as well as the spirits from this line that are currently taking over the world in every domain and every facet of this globe.
Yeah, this particular line that we're talking about are part of the 13 Illuminati bloodlines that still rule through the divine right of kings. And you can study a show we did a couple weeks about that, where we tied all these bloodlines together, how they intermarry, interbreed, and through strategic marriage control power, money, and wealth, and also concentrate it so that they can, rule at will. But we're going to be also talking from the book of Enoch. I'll be quoting some things from the book of Enoch, and for those that don't really, give any adherence to the book of Enoch, he has been mentioned in the New Testament, and he's been given credit to by many of the apostles. And so I'm going to read just a small, quick snippet from the book of Jasher, which is mentioned twice in the Bible, but it gives a glorious accounting of Enoch and his righteousness and why he was chosen to be as a witness, as a testament to the watchers and their interdiction into the affairs of humanity. Because if we did not have Enoch's accounting, we would not know from where evil came into the world. And then I'll get you to comment after this. From the book of Jasher. And the soul of Enoch was wrapped up in the instruction of the Lord, in knowledge and in understanding, and he was wisely retired from the sons of men, and secreted himself from them for many days. It was at the expiration of many years, whilst he was serving the Lord and praying before him in his house, that an angel of the Lord called to him from heaven, and he said, Here I am. And he said, Rise, go forth from thy house and from the place where thou dost hide thyself, and appear to the sons of men, in order that thou mayest teach them the way in which they should go, and the work which they must accomplish to enter in the ways of God. And Enoch rose up accordingly to the word of the Lord, and went forth from his house and from his place, and from the chamber in which he was concealed, and he went to the sons of men, and taught them the ways of the Lord, and at that time assembled the sons of men and acquainted them with the instruction of the Lord. And he ordered it to be proclaimed in all places where the sons of men dwelt, saying, Where is the man who wishes to know the ways of the Lord and good works? Let him come to Enoch. And all the sons of men then assembled to him, for all who had desired this thing went to Enoch. And Enoch reigned over the sons of men according to the word of the Lord. And they came and bowed to him, and they heard his word. The Spirit of God was upon Enoch, and he taught all the men the wisdom of God and his ways. And the sons of men served the Lord all the days of Enoch, and they came to hear his wisdom. And all the kings of the sons of men, both first and last, together with their princes and judges, came to Enoch when they heard of his wisdom. And they bowed down to him, and they also required of Enoch to reign over them, to which he consented. And they assembled in all 130 kings and princes, and they made Enoch king over them, and they were all under his power and his command. And Enoch taught them wisdom, knowledge, and the ways of the Lord, and he made peace amongst them, and peace was throughout the earth during the life of Enoch. And Enoch reigned over the sons of men 243 years, and he did justice and righteousness with all his people, and he led them in the ways of the Lord. Do you want to comment on Enoch real quick, Alan?
Exactly. For the first 4 centuries of the church, this is historical. First Enoch was canon. It was removed, I believe, for illegitimate and nefarious reasons. I don't believe it was an accident that it emerged in this century. If you read the book, it's about the poor, it's about righteousness, it's about love, purity. I look at other extra-biblical works as novels, but I do take First Enoch to be canon. And again, primarily, the book of First Enoch is to this generation. The beginning of the book, this is 1:1. It says, The words of the blessing of Enoch wherewith he blessed the elect and the righteous who will be living in the day of tribulation when all the wicked and godless are to be removed. So if you read the book of Enoch, there's nothing in the first version that you can find that is anti-scriptural. In fact, it just expounds and it extrapolates and actually brings to life a lot of what is sort of alluded to in canon and mentioned, but it's just an expose on our enemy and where evil came from. It's extremely pertinent to this generation, and I believe a read for every Christian.
I think it's really important to read the book of Enoch, and I agree with you. I think it was purposely left out and also hidden, but the Lord wanted us to know where evil came from, so He made it available to us again, and just to prove that during the time of Enoch that there was great wickedness and great evil going on, and it was his grandfather Yared during his time that they actually descended, that the Watchers left their first estate, descended to the earth, and interbred with the daughters of Cain. They also began to corrupt different animal lines and plant lines, and their genetic manipulation went far beyond just that of humanity. They began to manipulate many, many different things. And just to give you a little basis for this, we're going to go to a book called the Book of Giants. And this is from the Dead Sea Scroll collection. It's a very interesting and fascinating book, and I would definitely recommend people read it for themselves. But it is fragmented, so know that before I start reading, because it will be jumbled sentences. But if you listen to the words, you'll get an idea for what the premise of this story is about. Okay, beginning with the Book of Giants. They knew the secrets of sin was great in the earth, and they killed many. They begat giants. Everything that the earth produced, the great fish, the sky with all that grew, fruit of the earth and all kinds of grain and all the trees, beasts and reptiles, all creeping things of the earth, and they observed all, every harsh deed and utterance, male and female among humans. 200 donkeys, 200 asses, 200 rams of the flock, 200 goats, 200 beasts of the field, from every animal and from every bird, for miscegenation. And if you look at that word, if you look that word up, it means the mixing of races and genes. They defiled. They begot giants and monsters. They begot, and behold, all the earth was corrupted with its blood, and by the hands of giants which did not suffice for them, and they were seeking to devour many. The monsters attacked. Flesh, all monsters they would arise lacking in true knowledge, because the earth grew corrupt. Mighty they were considering, for the angels upon in the end will perish and die. They caused great corruption in the earth. This did not suffice to do. They drenched the tablet in the water, and the waters went up over the tablet. They lifted out the tablet from the water. This is about a dream that they had, because the Lord is going to judge them, and the Lord gave them dreams. And so the next couple parts are about the dreams that they had. And there's also a mention of Gilgamesh in this particular book, and we know that he was one of the founders of the Sumerian civilizations after the flood, and that he was in search of immortality because he knew that he was going to perish. And so, we have that whole epic of Gilgamesh where he's seeking to find his immortality because he's two-thirds divine and born of a earth woman. So, continue on. This vision is for cursing and sorrow. I am the one who confessed, the whole group of the castaways that I shall go to, the spirits of the slain complaining about their killers and crying out that we shall die together and be made an end of much, and I will be sleeping and bread for my dwelling, the vision, and also entered into the gathering of the giants. Oya, And he said to Maweh, and these are the two sons of Semyaza, who is also mentioned as one of the watchers in the book of Enoch that came down and made it with the daughters of men. These are their giant children, Oya and Maweh. Without trembling, who showed you all this vision, my brother? Barachel, my father, was with me, and before Maweh had finished telling what he had seen, said to him, now I have heard wonders, if a barren woman gives birth. Thereupon Oya said to Haya, to be destroyed from upon the earth and the earth, when they wept before the giants? Your strength. Thereupon Oya said to Haya, then he answered, it is not for us, but for Azazel, for he did. The children of the angels are the giants, and they would not let all their loved ones be neglected. We have not been cast down. You have strength. And then Gilgamesh speaks. I am a giant, and by the mighty strength of my arm and my own great strength, anyone mortal, and I have made war against them, but I am not able to stand against them, for my opponent resides in heaven, and they dwell in the holy places, and not that they are stronger than of the wild beast has come, and the wild man they call me. Then Oya said to him, I have been forced to have a dream. The sleep of my eyes vanished, and let me see a vision. Now I know that on Gilgamesh. And here's another one of the visions that the giants had. And we're going to go into the book of Enoch next, which gives a more detailed accounting of this, but I wanted to give you two biographical bases in the Word for what we're going to be talking about, the kind of evil that these beings brought into the world and why their judgment was so severe. Three of its roots, while I was watching, there came, and they moved the roots into this garden, and all of them in naught. Concerns the death of our souls, and all his comrades, and Oya told them what Gilgamesh said to him, and it was said, concerning the leader has cursed the potentate, and the giants were glad at his words, and then he turned and left. Thereupon two of them had dreams, and the sleep of their eye fled for them, and they arose and came to, and told their dreams, and said in the assembly of their comrades, the monsters, in my dream I was watching this very night, and there was a garden, gardeners, and they were watering. 200 trees and large shoots came out of their root, and all the water and all the fire burned all of the garden, and they found the giants to tell them of the dream. To Enoch, the noted scribe, and he will interpret for us the dream. Thereupon his fellow Oya declared and said to the giants, I too had a dream this night, O giants, and behold, the ruler of heaven came down to earth, and such is the end of the dream. Thereupon all the giants and monsters grew afraid and called Maweh. He came to them, and the giants pleaded with him and sent him to Enoch, the noted scribe, and they said to him, to you that you have heard his voice, and he said to him, he will and interpret the dream, how long the giants have to live. We're getting down to the end of it. It's a very short book, but it's incredibly introspective. He mounted up in the air like strong winds and flew with his hands like a glass. He left behind the inhabited world and passed over desolation, the great desert. And Enoch saw him and hailed him, and Maweh said to him, hither and thither, a second time to Maweh, the giants await your words, and all the monsters of the earth has been carried from the days of there, and they will be added. We would know from you their meaning. And Enoch, the scribe Enoch, sent a copy of the second tablet that Enoch had sent in the very handwriting of Enoch, the noted scribe, in the name of God, the great and holy one, to Semyaza and all his companions. Let it be known to you that not I, and the things you have done, and your wives, they and their sons and their wives and their sons, by your licentiousness on the earth, and there have been upon you, and the land is crying out and complaining about you, and the deeds of your children, the harm that you have done to it. Until Raphael arrives, behold, destruction is coming, a great flood, and it will destroy all living things, and whatever is in the deserts and the seas, and the meaning of the matter upon you for evil. But now, loosen the bonds binding you to this evil, and pray. And last sentence of this particular book. Great fear seized me, and I felt on my face, and I heard his voice, and he dwelt among human beings, but he did not learn from them.